Welcome back to the 2 Point Show, where we give you the latest sports rundown. We are your hosts, Gideon and Joey, breaking down stories, giving hot takes, and interviewing athletes around the world. From buzzer beaters to bold predictions, we will give you fresh analysis, real opinions, and some fun arguments along the way. So whether you're tuning in on your drive, in the gym, or simply on your couch, get ready for a good one. This is the 2 Point Show.
Back to another episode of the 2 Point Show. We're very blessed, and we're joined by a very special guest, Chris Hammer. Chris, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Chris, he was born without his left hand. He's a Paralympic Gold Medalist at the 2024 Paris Olympics, and he went to Grand Valley State, where he was a four-time All-American in 2006, 2009, and you went to Troy Athens High School, correct?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Oh, a little hometown. Okay.
Yep. So we're both from Rochester, and he went to Adams, I went to Stony Creek. So, yeah, Oakland County fellow. So,
in a world where everyone's glued to screens, there's one skill that sets people apart: real human connection. And that's exactly what door-to-door sales teaches better than anything else. Door-to-door isn't just about knocking and pitching. It's about confidence. It's about learning how to handle rejection, think on your feet, and connect with anyone, anywhere. The kind of skills that make you unstoppable in business, relationships, and life. Whether you're 18 and trying to find your direction, or 28 and ready to sharpen your edge, few things build character like face-to-face selling. You learn discipline, grit, communication, and most importantly, how to bet on yourself. So next time you hear door-to-door, don't think of it as old school. Think of it as the ultimate training ground for entrepreneurs. The lessons last a lifetime, and confidence, that's priceless. Connect with Evan Jackson today and find out how you can join the RID team. Because at RID Pest Control, we don't just sell pest control. We build confidence, freedom, and a future you control. Call 616-262-5493 or email Evan at evanjjackson8@gmail.com. That's 616-262-5493. Join the RID team.
yeah.
There you
go. We're just gonna jump right into it. I heard you had a race yesterday. How did that go?
Yeah, I did my first Ironman ever. So I was out on the course for like 8 hours, 48 minutes. You do a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, then the marathon. So I'm pretty sore.
112 mile an hour bike?
112 mile bike, yeah. Yeah, so.
Oh my goodness. I don't think I could do that in a week.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I wanted to do one once in my life, and I figured I'm in Arizona now, and it's the last one that's like in my hometown area. So I figured I just might as well do it, and I'm glad I did, but I'm sore as heck right now.
That's good.
Yeah, Chris, just what's going on like with you right now? Obviously, you sit at your higher 30s of where you're at with your career, and I just want to know, like, family coming in and stuff. Just give us a little rundown of how your life is just going right in this moment with training, with balancing everything. You tell us.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give a little bit of a backstory. Originally from Michigan, but I haven't lived there in some time. I ran collegiately at Grand Valley State, and I had a successful collegiate career, but not like, I had multiple All-American honors. So it was a good career, but not good enough to go pro or anything like that. So I was going to be done with being an athlete, go into the real world, and then I got recruited for the parasport, and I never knew parasport even existed. I was born with one hand. Technically, I guess if you want to be technical, like it's in generally like I'm underdeveloped from the scap, like through the whole arm, just like stunted in its growth, whatever it is. But I say I have one hand to make it simple. The end of my collegiate career, I was approached with this opportunity. I was hesitant to pursue it, but I was like, okay, what the heck? I'll give it a shot. And it was an opportunity to stay in sport, and sport's my passion. Like I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a huge sports, like watching all of our Detroit sports, Michigan sports, but then I love being an athlete as well. So I jumped into parasport. This was in around 2011 or so. And so, yeah, 14 years later, I'm still in it. I'm in the sport of triathlon now. And I was fourth place at 2 previous Paralympic Games in Rio in 2016 and then Tokyo in 2020. Or I guess 2021 because of COVID, it was pushed back a year. And so I was like, man, I'm just first spot off the podium. It's a bummer. But I don't want to be done. I want to keep going at it. And so that's why when we moved to Arizona so I could join a training group. And at the age of 38, oldest person in my field, or in the competition field, and I came out on top in Paris with the gold. So that was kind of like, yeah, my family went all in for me to pursue my dream, which was, and then I achieved it. So yeah, you asked, that's a long way to get to what am I doing right now? Well,
For sure, yeah.
yes. I did what I came out here, set like my goal. I accomplished it. So it's like, yeah, now what? Well, we just had the World Championships a few weeks back in Wollongong, Australia, and I won there as well. So now I'm the defending Paralympic champion as well as the world champion. It's like, well, LA's only 3 years away now, the next games. And so I guess that's what's on my mind is I want to stick with it, keep putting in work, and hopefully have one more games.
How is it traveling all these places? Like, you're going all over the freaking world.
Yeah, I mean, I try to limit the travel I do, but in a typical year, yeah, I'm probably competing internationally 4 times or so, maybe 5 times. I've been to Yokohama, Japan a number of times. I mean, it's probably 20 countries I've competed in. And like I said, I've had opportunities to compete at more, but I'm trying to limit the travel, especially at 39 years of age. I have an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old daughter. Like, I don't want to be gone too often. So, because every time you take those trips too, it's a business trip, right? Like you're not there to sightsee, you're there to do a job. And so it's tiring, but it's also, I'm super fortunate to have that opportunity.
Are we allowed to like see like how like the difference with the one arm?
Oh yeah, so obviously a hand, and then this is like
hand. Sorry, I mispronounced it.
No, this is my hand. Yeah, this is my one arm, my nub, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like you can't really see the full but it's gonna like elbow to elbow. It comes up a lot shorter. It's same here, but it's just I was born this way, so I don't like I don't really know what else or what anything else would be like.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just naturally how you're born. This is what just came to my mind too. I just want to know, how do you have like for your bike or like swimming, like do you have like a designed bike for yourself with like the handlebars and like how you like sit down on it?
No, so on my race bike I don't.
Okay.
And like in the race yesterday, it's kind of gnarly when you're like out there pretty fatigued on a crowded course, bumpy roads. It was windy. You had this crosswind and like you need to grab nutrition, like, cause you can't just be out on the bike for 4+ hours without like feeding yourself and all that. And I'm like getting tired with, every crowded road. I'm like, do I really want to take my only hand off of the handlebars to try to grab this stuff? And so it can be a little, interesting at times, but it's just, again, it is what it is. That's just what I'm used to, so it's no big deal.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
super cool.
We got to give a shout out to our guys over at Campus Barbers, the best barbershop in East Lansing. Campus Barbers has been making Spartans look sharp since 1952. Whether you're heading out for a night or even simply to class, they are going to get you right and feeling confident. They've got that classic barbershop vibe. Friendly dudes, great conversations, and when you get up from the chair, you know your cut's going to be looking smooth. They're located at 621 East Grand River Avenue, right across from campus. You can walk in or book ahead online at campusbarbersinc.com. Super easy and convenient. So next time you need a trim, a fade, or freshen up for the weekend, head over to our guys Jason and Nick at Campus Barbers. Now let's get back to the show.
As a kid, like I'm sure you played other sports like baseball and basketball, like all that. So when did you really start to find yourself, oh, hey, I'm pretty good at running. Let's continue this and do this. Like what age?
Yeah. So, I started growing up. I mean, started with soccer probably, but then my friend Dan Shanahan got me into ice hockey in elementary school. So I played ice hockey like all through the high school years. I played baseball as well all through the high school years. But it was Dave Petrangelo.
Yep.
I know who you know, Gideon. He's the one who got me and another one of my buddies out to like a run club in middle school. So we started kind of just getting after it in not getting after it, but just running in middle school. And Dave was more talented. I think like probably more athletic than I was, but I took to the sport of running, and like I don't know if it's something that I inherently love to begin, but when it with hard work, it started to pay off. I started to get faster and faster, and I was far from some like prodigious talent, but I was successful. I was an all-state runner, league, like won a bunch of league titles and all that. So, and when you experience the success, you're like, I want to keep doing this. And so, I guess I started in middle school running, got successful in high school, and then that's what took me to college.
So, Chris, I mean, I feel like you've probably had some difficulties with the one hand, I'm sure, throughout your lifetime, building up to where you are today. I just want to know, like, how did you overcome having, like, the challenge of only having one hand? And, like, what difficulties did you go through, or, like, even setbacks? I want to learn more, or I'm curious to hear about that.
Yeah, I think the stage was set for me from a really young age that it was never an excuse to not do anything. And more than that, it was never an excuse not to do something well. Like the very initial story that was kind of relayed to me, because I didn't know it at the time, was like in kindergarten, an assignment was to go home and to tie your shoes or learn how to tie your shoes and then demonstrate you could tie your shoes in class. And so my teacher, though, told my parents, like, Chris is excused from this assignment, like, don't worry about it. And my parents said, no, he'll do it just like anyone else can do it. Like, he'll go home, he'll learn how to tie his shoes, and he'll come back to the class and he'll tie them the same as everyone else, or the same. So I didn't know this, but that's just, that expectation was set from such a young age. Like, you'll do anything anyone else can do. You don't have an excuse not to. So yeah, I'm sure I faced challenges, and there's times when you had to adapt and adjust, but for the most part, it was just like, I mean, it's not an excuse. Like, everyone has their challenges. Maybe like mine is something that you can easily like see because it's a physical impairment, but everyone has challenges that they have to overcome too. And it's just like I said, it is what it is. It's just not something I give much thought to or much mental energy to.
Yes. So we're gonna kind of go toward like the racing questions, kind of. I just want to hear, like, I know that triathlon, there's everything, there's running, biking, swimming. Just how, like, year round, how do you prepare for it? Do you train all year? Do you have any off season? Just kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's I often feel like in order to do it at a high level, like every second of every day feels like it's accounted for. So I work part-time, but I'm putting in most weeks probably 30 plus hours between swim, bike, run, strength. And then you have to also consider, like, if you're spending that much time training, like how much energy are you using, or like how much time do you need to recover? Like how much, like, cause you're kind of just like, you're toast after that. Right. So like to do it at a high level, at least what I find for myself is I need to be a workhorse. Like I need to put in all those hours and to reach my potential. Like when I got into the sport, it's maybe more like 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a week. And I just wasn't experiencing the success that I wanted to. So yeah, I work part-time. I have 2 kids and, I have a family. So it's like, I'm actively involved there. And then I'm putting a ton of time into it. As far as off season goes, there's going to be an off season. It's more though, the shift is just in the intensity within the sports. Like during the off season, what you're doing is you're building a huge aerobic base. Like if you think of your fitness like a pyramid, like the aerobic base is that the bottom of the pyramid, and the bigger that base, like the higher, like the tip of the pyramid. So that's what the focus will shift to. So rather than maybe going out and doing a bunch of high intensity efforts, which you do in like the leading into like championship season, it's going to be lots of long, easy miles and
Like,
things
will
like
you
that.
will you do anything like today, like right after a race, or
Well, after a normal race, yeah, because the races I compete in for my championships, are they're called sprint distance triathlons. They still take about an hour, give or take a minute or two. So it's a sprint that you're still out there redlining for like an hour. But after an Ironman, and no, I don't. I'll maybe like hop in a cold plunge or something, maybe. But I'll be taking some time off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was,
I
gonna
was
say that
curious,
was
just
the last race of my season.
I was just curious, like, how long do you really, after an Ironman, how long do you like take it? Like, how many days do you truly take off and let your body just rest and recover until you start to think, okay, I should probably get back out there and start training again?
Yeah, I mean, for like I said, this is my first ever Ironman, and so the only reason I'm doing this is because kind of when you tell people like, "Oh, I race triathlon," they one of the questions is always, "Oh, have you done an Ironman?" It's like, no, I've competed like in the like all across the world. I'm a Paralympic gold medalist. They're like, "Oh, but you haven't done an Ironman." So now I can finally be like, "Yes, I've raced an Ironman."
Take
But yeah,
that.
but no, this is new to me, and it's not a race I trained for. Like, I've never biked 100 miles outside before, and this bike ride was 112 miles. So it's like the last time I've run a marathon was in 2012, so 13 years ago. So it's like I'm ill-equipped for this distance. I just wanted to do it. So this wasn't a race I did for any like external competitive reasons. This was just something I'm doing for myself. Like when I do my championship races in the elite para triathlon, then I'm out there to win, to compete. But this was a challenge I set for myself after the season just to see how things go.
So literally yesterday, you were outside doing an Ironman, 112 miles of biking. Was the weather nice? Like, was it nice weather at least?
I mean, it's Arizona, so it's probably a lot nicer than a lot of the rest of the country. But it wasn't. I mean, it was fine. It was windy on the bike, which is not my favorite, like not the best, but it could have been worse.
What's the best
go.
running weather? Like, what's your prime weather running? Yeah.
For running weather, you want it nice and chilly. Yeah, probably like 60 degrees, 50, even 50 or 50s maybe, and like overcast would be nice. But yeah, in the triathlon, you're out there, you're swimming or at least the Ironman, you're swimming for 2.4 miles. So it took me about an hour. So you're swimming for a long time. So you're coming out wet from the body of water. Like then you're hopping on a bike for 4.5 hours or so for me. And like, so you don't want to be chilly. It's hard. I don't have much experience at this distance. So, it was, like I said, it was an experience. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's an experience I'm glad I had, but probably not one I'm going to seek out again unless I train specifically for it.
Gotcha.
So, Chris, when did you start realizing you were like pretty good at running? When did you realize you could maybe take your career to a more professional level? And when did you also realize you could maybe start doing triathlon? Because you were obviously first cross country, but when did you start to maybe extend more and more?
Yeah, so I mean, in high school, you run cross country and track, and I was good. I was competitive, so I went to a Division II college at Grand Valley State. But it's also Grand Valley State's a powerhouse D2 program, so we were
for sure
we were good there. Like I ran in 8 national championships total between 4 in cross country, 4 in track. I was All-American 1 year in cross country. I was All-American 4 times in track. So it's like I had a good career, but it's just in a sport like cross country or track, like in running, it's only a handful of people who have the opportunity to go on as a pro. It's not like the major sports in the US where you're hundreds of people are drafted every year and to go on to have the opportunity to be professional. Those opportunities just don't exist. So if it wasn't for parasport, being recruited into parasport, I would not have had the opportunity to be quote unquote professional athlete. Like I would be maybe in the recreational or whatever, but yeah, parasport was the avenue that, or was it gave me the opportunity to pursue, yeah, my passion, which is athletics, well past when I had, any expectation to be able to.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, obviously you were running first. How did like swimming? How did you train like first? Because were you always a good swimmer like growing up, or no?
No, so like in college one year when I was injured, I was doing some swimming for cross training, and I thought I was getting pretty good. So I challenged my girlfriend, who's now my wife, to like, hey, I was like, because she grew up a swimmer, and I was like, let's race. Like I'm pretty fast now, and she like lapped me. I said, okay, no, stop. And so that was, I was probably 20, 21 years old, whatever I was at the time. And then I didn't start swimming again until I got into triathlon at 26, 27 years old. And that's the first time in my life I really learned how to swim. And swimming's a sport where it's more of a skill than like a fitness thing. So like if you want to be a good swimmer, or if you want your kids to be a good swimmer or whatever, you want to start them early. So like when they're young, they're learning that feel for the water. So I started swimming at such an old age, like that I've missed out on all those like developmental years of really developing that feel for the water. So even now, I feel like I'm out there just like wrestling with the water. Like I'm not a good swimmer, especially compared to my competition. I'm always have a lot of ground to make up on the bike and the run. So it's, if I had one regret as it relates to triathlon, it's that I didn't learn to swim, 20 years earlier. Even 10 years earlier would have been huge.
So, Chris, pre-race, do you have any like specific ways you prepare, or superstitions, or like rituals, what you eat? Like how much sleep you get? What do you prepare usually what do you put all that together? How do you prepare for a triathlon?
So as far as like superstition or rituals, I have none. I'm like super easygoing. Like, and I think that's a good thing to some degree, because like what happens if you are superstitious or ritualistic and if something goes wrong and you're thrown off your game, then like that mentally that could mess you up. So I'm like super easygoing. I can eat whatever my gut's pretty well trained to be able to handle whatever. So it's not, it all for me comes back to like just my training preparation leading into it. Like, am I confident in my training? And if I am, then I'm confident in my ability to race. And so it's pretty, and especially in a sport like triathlon where you're not really game planning and stuff. It's not like I guess that can exist to some degree, but for the most part, it's just like, am I fit? Like, did I do what I needed to do to prepare that I don't have regrets that like, oh, I wish I would have trained or done something different. So in that regards, it's pretty simple, because it's like, I just need to get to the start line healthy and fit. And then then it's up to me on race day to execute.
Yeah, I got another question. Like,
Gotcha.
So like a triathlon takes on like an hour. Like, do you prepare like 2 days a day, 3 days a week? I don't know, like before, like just getting your body right, like food and like water and electrolytes, just.
All that is every day, practically year round, as long as well. Like, so you might do a little bit of a taper, like ease into races, especially important races. But even then, I've kind of moved away from doing too heavy of tapers, that I'm training at a pretty high level, like even like leading almost directly into a race. Like the workouts are going to shift a little bit, but you're treating it like you said, like a job, or on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. Like I'm trying to treat my body just like, as an elite athlete should. Like, yeah, I eat a lot of junk food. Like I love pizza. I love candy. I love but like, as far as like the training goes, as sleep goes, getting in, staying hydrated, like you have to stay on top of it. Like you can't put that stuff off and expect good results.
Right. So it's kind of like a muscle memory type of thing is what you're telling us. It's just a constant, like you can't stop it, or else it's just going to throw your whole game off, and it's just going to make you worse, is what you're basically saying.
Yeah. It's just a habit. Like you don't want to want to develop bad habits. You want to just And I know sometimes it's like frustrating because it's like, man, I wish I could stay up super late and just like hang out or like do whatever. But it's like, no, this is my job and I need to be responsible. And in some ways, I really like living where I am now in Arizona because I like last night for the Sunday night football, I'm able to go to bed at reasonable hours rather than staying up till like midnight or whatever because watching my teams play and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's basically, am I making decision it comes down can come down to this essentially. It's like every day you're making thousands of decisions, and does this decision help move me towards my goal or does it move me away from my goal? And ultimately, like, you want to do things that help move you towards your goal.
Chris, you are a big Detroit sports fan, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So I want a quick little off-topic question here. What's your thought on the game Sunday Night Football, on the Lions game? I want to hear your Chris Hammer's thoughts.
Yeah, it was frustrating to be sure. I know Dan Campbell took over the play calling, and I know all the narrative around golf, like, is struggling with playing in the cold and outside. It just was a frustrating game to watch. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not going to blame the refs for the pass interference call at the end of the game because it's like Detroit didn't really show.
Nice. That's exactly what I was telling Joey last night.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, what? I mean, I wish they would have had that opportunity. I think ultimately this should hopefully light a fire under their butts that, like, their playoff chances are a little bit in jeopardy right now. Like, they have
for sure.
Yeah, like, they have to start winning games. I know they haven't lost back-to-back games in however many days, which is super impressive. So it's like that streak's gonna have to continue, but they're gonna have to start stacking wins. So yeah,
you can't. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, like, you can't blame one person. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just blame Campbell. You can't just blame Goff. You can't just blame the offensive line. Like, it was multiple things that made us lose that game. I mean, Campbell with going for it on 4th down 5 times and not converting once. Like, that was questionable. Goff not having a great game. The cold. That's questionable. And then the O-line, we're banged up. So it's just, there's many parts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, like, represented themselves extremely well. Gibbs was electric.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, the JMO penalty, like, I wish he didn't do that, obviously. Like, that would have changed the whole dynamic of the game. Like, I would have kicked the field goal, but I mean, Dan Campbell's Campbell. Like, he's gonna stay true to himself. So it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback, but it was, especially like after like just being so sore and just like laying there watching the game, I was just like frustrated.
Wow. Good.
Sorry, guys. Had to get a little off topic there. I apologize.
I still am confident that they're going to, right the ship, but they have to start stacking wins.
Correct.
On Sunday, right? And then
we got the Giants, and then we got Thanksgiving, Green Bay.
Yeah. So those are a couple big games.
Correct. All right, we'll get back to the Chris Hammer story. Chris, you've been to 20 countries, you said earlier. Where do you think's the coolest place or country you've been at and like raced at personally?
My go-to answer for this is we had a race in Lake Iseo, Iseo in Italy, and we went with someone, our Team USA dietitian, nutritionist, who went with us, Jackie, speaks Italian. So she was hooking us up with like the local restaurants, going out and eating just like this authentic Italian. Oh, yeah. It was so good. But yeah, that's just like a lake mountain town in Italy. My favorite place I've ever been to.
Joe, you've been to Italy, right?
Yeah, I got very lucky. I went to Italy just this past summer, actually, for a 8-day trip. We went to Rome for about 6 days, and then we took a day trip to the Amalfi Coast, and then we took another day trip to Florence. And you will never see something like that in America. I mean, it is just incredible over there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, and I've been to all these countries, and there's so many beautiful places, but the U.S. is still the best. It's like
Plain and
but
simple.
yeah, no, I'm super fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, the Italy, it's just, what's so cool is just like the food, like everything here is just fat. You know what I mean? Like it's just super filling and unhealthy. But like when you eat a meal in Italy, it's just, you're not even like filled up. That's how like healthy it is after a full meal. You know what I mean?
No, there is something to that. I don't know enough about like, but yeah, whatever we put in like our pasta here, it's like, yeah, you're just bloated. Whereas there, it's like, it's good. But
For sure.
yeah, Italy's pretty special. It's pretty cool.
So you have
For sure.
you have a PhD in sports psychology. How does that, help you compete in all these races?
Yeah, I got a PhD in sports psychology from the University of Utah.
Hmm.
Sports psychology is interesting because a lot of it's pretty common sense stuff, and it's just, but it goes back to the thing like common sense isn't always so common. Like you might know something, but it's hard to like adhere to it. So it is beneficial for me to have that knowledge to fall back on. But it's trying to think how to put this. I don't think it does a whole lot for me. Like I think my mentality, my mindset just again goes back to how I was raised, like from a very young age, that if something's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Like there's no excuses, like just things like that. Ultimately, by following those kind of credos, it sets me up well in the sports that I do. But yeah, the sports psychology degree, I hope to put to use here in a more formal capacity at some point when I'm done being an athlete, whether it's working with a professional sports team or colleges or whatever it might be. I have that in my back pocket to fall back on.
Nice.
Does your family ever come with you to like to any of these countries ever, or like come and cheer you on?
They've been to a few, especially the Paralympics, but for the most part, it's just, I mean, international travel's hard, it's expensive,
Right.
and for me, it's a business trip. So it's like they could go there, but then it'd kind of be like, okay, you guys are on your own because I'm sitting in the hotel, attending these meetings, getting massages, like doing the training. I'm not out there doing the sightseeing. So like in Paris last year, my whole family came out. They went to like Disneyland Paris. They went sightseeing to Versailles and all that. I didn't do any of that. Like I'm just doing my job. So, yeah, I get that question a lot, and I think it is hard to kind of comprehend. Like, oh, you're going all around the country and all around the world, and all you're really seeing is a race course and a hotel room. It's like, yeah, that's the nature of it. Of the
Yeah,
game.
For sure. Chris, if you weren't an athlete, you just said you talked about your sports PhD. Maybe you would maybe think about this a little bit in this question. If you weren't an athlete, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
So 1 year out of college, or my undergraduate degree was in mathematics education. So I taught math for 1 year in a middle school setting, and I don't know if I don't think I'd still be doing that because that was rough. I don't know what I'd be doing. That's yeah, I don't know. Like I think my passion is sport, so I'd want to find a way to be involved in sport. I actually, well, I was a collegiate triathlon coach before we moved to Arizona, so I could pursue being an athlete more, like at a full-time level. So yeah, I'd have to be involved in sport in some capacity.
So how like before races or like even during the race, how do you handle pressure? Like you cramp at all? Do you tense up? Like how do you handle it?
I think pressure is a good thing. It's good to have those butterflies in your stomach because it shows that you care. You just want them to fly information. You don't want them to throw you off your game. So I think if I'm feeling that pressure, it just means, okay, this is good. I still care. I'm still passionate. I'm still enthused. And it goes back to, do I have trust in my training, in my fitness, in my preparation, and in my ability to execute? So I don't care about the pressure. I care about my preparation. And since I'm always, especially lately, like on top of that, it doesn't, because once the gun goes off and the race begins, like you stop thinking about the nerves and all that because then you're racing and it's just game on.
Yeah, I mean that's one of Dave's favorite things to say. Like pressure is a privilege. Like that means you care. That means you
Yeah.
just care. Honestly, like yourself, your team, your everything. So
I agree.
Shows you have passion.
Yeah, because if you're
Chris-
feeling the nerves or the pressure, it's like, yeah, how much do you really care about this thing?
Absolutely. What would you say is the hardest part with being a professional athlete and balancing family time at home?
It's the energy. I would say is the hardest part. Is like I'm tired all the time. I'm sore all the time, and so it's like you want to be there for your family, not just physically, but like being able to engage at a high level. And sometimes if you're just super exhausted, that's harder to do. Maybe you're a little less patient than you should be. Things like that. So just kind of knowing that and be like, okay, I have to, even though I might be physically and mentally exhausted, like you have to prioritize family above all else, and you have to be there for them. And that's, yeah, I mean, to do this the way I do this, like you also need a family, like a wife, and who's totally on board and who has your back, because it's not easy to be married to an athlete, especially like an athlete such as myself. Yes, I'm a professional athlete, but I'm not making much money doing this either. So it might be easier to justify for someone, with $1 million like contract in whatever sport. But for me, it's not that way. So it takes a special wife to be by your side.
talk about
Very cool.
like your kids. Like how did they shape you as a person? Like and a competitor. Like do they drive? Like what drives you? Kind of.
For as far as the kids, what they do is they ground, like they bring you back to earth, because like I could just win the gold medal in Paris and like they're like, okay, but like, hey, guess what, I just got an A on my math test, like awesome, like it's just they just bring you back to earth, and it's what really matters. It's like before Paris, because I spent the summer away from my family last year because I was up in Park City, Utah, doing altitude training before heading to Paris. And so the first time I physically saw them, for a few months, was right before the race. Like literally minutes before the race, they came up to me like down to a fence, and so I saw them like through the fence and said hi. And it's just like, yeah, you see them and you're like, well, this is what really matters. Like, yeah, I'm dedicating so much of my time, my energy to my sport, but at the end of the day, this is what really matters. So yeah, it just brings you down to earth having the kids. So does it motivate me? In a sense, like I want them to be proud of me and my accomplishments, and I want to set a good example for them. But yeah, more than anything, I think just it's a good grounding. Like it just shows you what matters.
Yeah.
So Chris, you're 39 years old, you said. How many more years do you think you have left of doing triathlon?
I mean, like father time's undefeated, right? So the wheels could fall off any year, any month, any day. Like, I don't know. The goal is to get through the LA 2028 games, hopefully be competitive enough to defend my gold medal, hopefully competitive enough to compete for a podium. But at this point, I have to be realistic that that's still 3 years away. So who knows? So I'm just going to do my best in every day I can from now until then to see if I can get there. And if not, like
100%.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah.
Really cool.
You good, Joe? Or
well, Chris, just huge thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate you taking the time, and all the way from Arizona having you on. It was really cool to hear your story. So just huge thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, fellas. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully you make it to 2028. We're gonna keep watching it now. I'm a huge fan of triathlon, so I'm gonna keep it rolling here. So yeah, I just want to say, go Lions. Hopefully we get to the Super Bowl, and that's all I got.
I know. I'll say one more thing. My wife did get mad at me because last year, before the Paralympics in Paris, I told her like I'd rather the Lions win the Super Bowl than I win the gold medal, and she
Oh,
said,
way.
she's like, she's like, that better not be true after all that we've done for you for in triathlon. That's okay, maybe not, but I was like, yeah. So yeah, go Lions.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the 2 Point Show. We will see you guys later this week. So we'll see everybody. Peace out.